Maria Holder Diabetes Center.
Sugary drinks spike your blood sugar faster than anything else. Water is your best friend.
If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic and you need diabetic services, but you need to make your dollar stretch no further than the Maria Holder Diabetes Center. For vascular, podiatry and diabetic eye screening services or consultations with diabetes doctors and nurses, call 417-0305 today. The Maria Holder Diabetes Center, located in Warren, St. Michael. They can save your life and save you money. But members get 10% off.
Good afternoon, Q family. It's time for 15 diabetic-friendly minutes on 100.7 QFM. That can be, as the beautiful voice lady just said, save your life and save you money. All compliments to the Barbados Diabetes Foundation, the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program, and the Maria Holder Diabetes Center. This is Peter Boyce here, and you should know by now that I drop in every Wednesday afternoon to tell you about the Maria Holder Diabetes Center that can save your life, especially if you're a diabetic or pre-diabetic. You can find them conveniently located at Warren St. Michael, just past Price Mart, coming up from town, and you will see the Eunice Gibson Polyclinic, and then right behind that, you will find the Maria Holder Diabetes Center with convenient and free parking, so you don't have to worry about parking. There you can come and get a vascular screening.
I would like to get a vascular screening because I feel I might got bad circulation.
Well, at the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, that can be done there. And also, those pretty eyes that you got, especially the ladies.
Thank you.
You can get those pretty eyes screened for diabetic retinopathy, something that once you're diabetic, you're supposed to do every year. So all of these peripheral of health services, you can find at the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, including podiatry services for your feet, and also dietitian Victoria Cox to help you to get down to your dream weight.
I would like that.
You can also find diabetes specialists like Dr. Diane Brathwaite, and today we are going to have another healthy information session on QFM with Dr. Brathwaite. Let me see if she's ready. Dr. Brathwaite, you ready? She said yes. So this is Dr. D.
So we've been talking quite a lot about cardiovascular risk over the last 2 sessions.
Yes, that is true. I sure the QFM family remember that. So what are we doing today?
Number 1, we're just going to quickly review correct blood pressure measurements. This is something that we promised to come back to in one of our last posts. And remember, we want to be using something called an arm cuff. So that means that it's a cuff that goes on the arm in preference to a wrist cuff, right? So it's always good to have accurate blood pressures. And I would have mentioned on previous posts, I do actually recommend that each family have a reliable blood pressure machine. You can discuss with the pharmacist what some of the best machines are, and there are a number of distributors who sell very good validated machines in Barbados. Okay, so we do recommend doing home blood pressure checks because there are a number of people, especially people of color, who will have elevated blood pressures when they go to their doctor's office, something called white coat hypertension. Of course, if you're not able to do it at home, well then, yes, you have to rely on doctor's readings, but we want you to be empowered and we want you to be able to take your home readings to your office visits with you. So I'm going to give you a quick checklist of some do's and don'ts to help you take your blood pressure more accurately. So we recommend that you don't eat or drink anything 30 minutes before you take your blood pressure. Make sure that your bladder is empty before you go to do the reading. So if you feel like you need to go to the washroom, go and empty your bladder before you check the blood pressure. Make sure that you're sitting comfortably in a chair with your back supported, and you should be resting for at least about 5 minutes before your reading. The arm should be resting at heart level height. So most people will have their arms maybe just resting on the side of the chair on a small table. Make sure you put both feet flat on the ground and keep your legs uncrossed. You also want to make sure that the blood pressure cuff is snug but not too tight, and the cuff should be against your bare skin and not over clothing. And of course, it makes sense do not talk while your blood pressure is being measured. I also tell people when you press that button to measure the blood pressure, don't sit there staring into the blood pressure machine looking at the numbers go up and down. That doesn't facilitate a state of relaxation. I also like to tell people if you take a blood pressure reading, relax for a further 3 to 5 minutes and do a second reading. If the two readings are significantly different, you want to rest for a further 3 to 5 minutes, minding all the guides I've given you, including do not talk, and you want to do a third blood pressure reading. By the third blood pressure reading, you should have a pretty good idea of what the blood pressure is going to be. Sometimes if the two readings, the second and the third, are pretty similar, you can average out the top and the bottom number, but we generally tend to go with the lowest number. So those are your tips on measuring the blood pressure. Do take good care of yourself, and remember, heart health is your health and your heart matters.
Thank you, Dr. Bradford, for that good information on how to properly take our blood pressure, and also reminding us that our heart matters. Because if that's not working, that's it. Because we only got one heart, so we must take care of it by taking it to the Maria Holder Diabetes Center. Good.
Remember, diabetes isn't just about sugar. It affects your heart, kidneys, eyes, and mind.
The Maria Holder Diabetes Center.
Not only do we have diabetes doctors at the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, but there are also diabetes specialist nurses like Nurse Tracy Bushell, who you will hear next on QFM, and she will be dealing with if you have a diabetic child who is in school this September. Here are some medical tips to keep them safe.
Good day everyone, this is Tracy Bushell, diabetes specialist nurse at the Maria Holder Diabetes Centre for the Caribbean in Warrens. So I'm sure you've all got your school uniforms ready and your new books ready to go. So for those that have diabetes, it's also about being prepared and making sure that everything's in place, that you're safe and everyone and yourself knows what to do. So you might be going into a new class, you have a new teacher or even a new school, or maybe even starting school. So those things that were in place last term might need to be revisited because there's other people or new people involved now. An important aspect is around medication. So some might be on insulin, some might be on tablets. So it's knowing when and how to give that at the appropriate time and safely. So even if the child knows how to do that themselves, it's important that other people are aware as well, i.e. the teacher, the school nurse, or an assigned person. And also some children might need assistance because they're not with their parents anymore, particularly perhaps for the younger ones who are unsure. So it's really important that that is visited, and this could be going in to speak to the staff at the school. You might even want your nurse to go in and give a talk or have a discussion, and sometimes giving a little talk to the children is really helpful, so they know what's going on and they might even be able to assist their friend, that they won't be anxious when they see someone injecting, for instance. Storage of insulin is really important and needs to be kept to the fridge in an ideal situation in the door of the fridge. So if there's access to a fridge, that's perfect. However, if it's going to be difficult to gain access to the fridge when needed, a cool bag with a cool pack is perfect and will keep your insulin cool all day. And obviously in these high temperatures, even in general terms in Barbados, the temperature is above where it should be in terms of it, if it's not in the fridge. And we have particularly high temperatures at the moment at this time of year. Also medication, just make sure it's in a safe place. Meals and snacks throughout the day are important, and obviously having meals on time and snacks on time is quite key for a lot of children and young adults. But it's not to segregate them, make sure that they can still eat with all their friends and everybody else, but making sure, for instance, the access to the insulin, which is often associated with the mealtime, and some tablets. It might be that the person needs a snack mid-morning or mid-afternoon as well. And keeping hydrated, so good old-fashioned water in a water bottle to be kept on the desk, and make sure that the teacher is aware of that. As mentioned briefly, not to exclude anybody. It's actually about all being part of friends and normal classes, and not to make a big deal out of any of it. Emergency contact numbers are key, obviously, so making sure that the school has contact, whether it be parents, grandparents, carers, or particular neighbour or good friend, that they can contact and get in touch with with them at any time. And this can be particularly important if a child becomes unwell. So just general illness doesn't tend to be an emergency in any way, but particularly if a child starts vomiting or needs to go to the bathroom all the time, they can become dehydrated very fast, and this can cause them to become very unwell very quickly. So it's, actually being able to contact someone quickly. And if in doubt, you can always contact the emergency services. Low blood sugars or hypoglycemia, generally the child or young adult will actually have specific symptoms and know that their blood sugar is dropping, but it's also important for the teachers and friends to be aware of those symptoms, and they might notice that they're behaving slightly different, and that would be that their blood sugar is dropping. So ensuring that they have a juice box in their backpack or their school bag at all time, or some form of jelly beans, or even access to sugar in water, but a little box juice is more than adequate. This tends to not happen very frequently, but can happen at any time for particular reasons, but exercise might be one of the causes. So if you're exercising at school or doing some form of gym or running, it's making sure that you have a small snack in your bag. It could be a cereal bar, or maybe a couple of biscuits that you can have before you start the exercise. So all in all, it's just about being prepared, have things in place, knowing what to do, and making sure teachers and others are aware of how to recognise certain things, know what to do, making sure medication is given appropriately, meals and snacks, emergency contact numbers, and knowing what to do if the child becomes unwell. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you, Nurse Tracy, for giving us those tips on how to keep our children safe at school as we go into our Q song of the day, a song that reminds us of being children ourselves. This is Dave Martin and the Trade Winds with Boyhood Days. Compliments the Maria Holder Diabetes Center.
Remember your wayward ways. Come, let me go down memory lane. Check out them days again. Remember learning how to ride a bike and learning how to cuss. Drinking coconut water in the country that your belly nearly bust.
The Maria Holder Diabetes Center.
And the first time you wear long pants and feel like a man. Remember when Ramadan and Valentine beat England? Hiding in the backyard smoking a cigarette. And when they give you castor oil, you're living in the toilet. I remember still, and I always will. Time cannot erase boyhood days.
I have had diabetes for just about 8 years now.
How did the services of the Maria Holder Diabetes Center help you?
I utilize the diabetes specialist nurse, the podiatrist, the nutritionist, and of course the doctor. The staff there, but it is really nice, and they're supportive, and they help me through a lot of my problems. They taught me about calorie counting, learning how to balance my meals. They helped me not to be insecure about having diabetes. It's something that I have to live with, and to love myself, to be confident in everything I do.
If you are diabetic or pre-diabetic and listening to QFM right now, in 2025, Q stands for Quality Health Services at lower prices, which is what you will find at the Maria Holder Diabetes Center located in Warren, St. Michael. If you are looking for diabetic eye screening, vascular screening, podiatry, or nutritional advice, call 243-3937 or 417-0305 and make an appointment today. Don't miss next week when we will be dealing with more diabetic issues. Same Q time, same Q station. Compliments the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program, and the Barbados Community Foundation.
If you or your loved one is impacted by diabetes and have questions, the Barbados Diabetes Foundation has the answers.
It's always easy
easier to reverse diabetes. Certainly control it properly and avoid complications if you at least know that you have it.
So it's just again to re-emphasize the importance of good diabetic care. And diabetic care involves really almost every part of the body. So it's your feet, your heart. But again, we're coming back to what our main focus is at this time is the eye care.
The Maria Holder Diabetes Center, located in Warren, St. Michael, is your source of diabetic care.
Half of people living with diabetes don't even know it. Get screened, know your numbers.
The Maria Holder Diabetes Center.